the best advice I would give anyone who would like to get into farming is that you need to start to work from the market backwards.
You mentioned you were homeless twice while you were in Nairobi.
Yes.
What was that journey like?
In Nairobi, as you know, is always every man for himself. The thing that helped during that season is that we had maintained a good social capital. It's better than even the financial capital that you have.
You've been super strong-minded.
Yeah.
How do you maintain being, calm, peaceful?
It starts by getting the right woman. If you get the wrong one, then it's just like from the pan to the fire.
How were you guys raising cash while you were in the city the first time around?
We had pitched, and through a referral, we got a good deal. And when that money came,
The smile.
it's spiritual more than it is just books and everything, because you find that one season people have planted, they've got bumper harvest. Then the next season, not such bumper harvest. What has happened? Isn't it the same soil? Isn't it the same people? Haven't they done the same things? Why is it that the harvest is not consistent?
Do you just question it, or have you taken that seriously and you've implemented spirituality as part of your strategy?
You can't live in the farm where I live and not be spiritual.
You're listening to the Men's Forum.
Your guide to being a better man.
Here we talk about everything to do with dealing with the nuances of life as a man.
This is your safe space to finding solutions to any problem you could be facing as a man.
We're your hosts Rajveer and Shalin, and we're sitting down with guests who share their personal experiences and insights, adding depth and new perspectives to our discussions. Building a business, it's one of the best things a man can do for himself. But of course, it comes with its challenges. Joining us on today's podcast is Jeff Ndindi, a man who knows the true meaning of starting from scratch. Once homeless, Jeff has now established himself as a successful farmer, building a thriving business from the ground up. In this episode, Jeff will share his incredible journey from having nothing to becoming a successful farmer. We'll explore the challenges he faced, the lessons he learned along the way, and the strategies that helped him overcome adversity to create a sustainable agricultural business. Whether you're interested in agriculture and farming, entrepreneurship, or stories of extraordinary human spirit, Jeff's insights are bound to inspire. Tune in as we uncover the realities of building a business from nothing and the power of perseverance and hard work. We hope Jeff's story of transformation and success helps you find the spark you need to start your own journey from scratch, or to keep going with what you're building in those moments of doubt.
Welcome to the Men's Forum, Jeff Ndindi.
Thank you.
I think your wife is awesome because she reached out and she's like, guys, this is my husband, present fatherhood. This is what we do. I was like, yeah, let me have a conversation with him. And it was super.
At least I'm not going to fire her. She's good at her job. that's exactly what she's meant to do.
She's the one who's marketing
she's the one
for you.
who connects and finds the right, spaces to get our products and stuff.
Okay.
So she's working.
Yeah, and your page is quite huge.
Well, yeah, it is.
Very, very, very authentic.
Absolutely. I feel like it's through authenticity that you're able to build brands that last. Yeah. If you're able to be vulnerable and people are able to follow your story and connect with it, then they will be stuck. I mean, if you're selling coffee, there are so many other coffees out there.
True.
So what else really connects you to that brand? Plus, apart from that, I'm just an authentic person. I believe in telling your story as it is, because then you don't have a lot of pressure in life that you want to hide or, just live.
I think one thing that's really interesting about your page is that a lot of people will try to post the very, my life is luxury, but what you've really embraced is the shags lifestyle.
Yes.
And you've also showcased, what it's like sleeping in a hut and then waking up and then going into your business.
Yeah. There's actually one video that I did that really caused a lot of fuss. And I woke up in my heart, took a border, and I was in a flight to Nairobi. And like, misplaced priority. But me, I was like, this is just a form of transport. And life is just but experiences. There's no experience that is better than the other. I mean, people go to Masai Mara to sleep on tents, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. So what are they looking for? They're just looking for an experience. So that is an experience. Right now, we are in this podcast. We're in the middle of the city. Am I any different? I'm still
The
Jeff.
same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the same.
Yeah.
Were you always passionate about what you do?
Yeah. I've, there are a number of things that have led to me getting to this point. I think it is upbringing, because I've gotten the chance to be raised in shags, the way what people are seeing now, and then I've gotten the chance to be raised in a middle upper income life. So half of my life, first 12 years, I think, and then the next half. Right now, I just turned 34. So that has been the rest of the city life and what. So I know both lives. So I think that is where the inspiration came from. I've been able to live both, experience both, know what is the vice from both and what is the good from both, and just appreciate and embrace each. Yeah. So that's where the inspiration came from.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to actually, just to clarify for the viewers, what is it that you do exactly?
That's always a hard question. I don't know.
Jack of all trades, huh?
Wait, you don't sell drugs, do you?
Spotify guys can't see you. You're doing a cheeky smile.
I don't sell drugs. Well, so professionally, I think I've trained on job as a safety officer. That's with tallow oil, and so I did that. And then university college, I've done marketing, business management, specialized in marketing. So I've only been employed as a safety officer for about 2 or so years, and then marketing, not that much. So
That's why your wife does it for you.
No. I don't know. I think I market my own products now. So I think that's where I am. So outside that, I think I'm a content creator for change. I create content that inspire fathers to be present beyond financial provision, because I realize that many fathers and many men only feel that their fatherhood and their manhood is only attached to the financial provision. So I was like, there is more to being a father. And financial provision can always be taken away at any time. You can be sick, you can be disabled. What happens? Do you stop being a father? So I wanted men to explore various ways in which you can be present. So I do that. I also own a business. I'm an entrepreneur. So I think I've sold anything in this Nairobi. I can sell you anything until I think what I haven't sold yet. There's still things to be sold. So
You're a hustler.
yeah, I'm a real hustler. So I'm trying to build a few brands. One of them is Quelly, which I decided to add value so that I explore the whole value chain, right from the farm to the market. That is honey, coffee. I also do woodwork. So that is something that I'm just recently started.
Yeah, we need a new coffee table. We're tired of pulling this out every day from the living room.
So yeah, that has just recently started. Started off with, because my children are homeschooled, so they are only homeschooled for 2 hours a day. So the rest of the day, what they do? So I enrolled them into woodwork classes, and through that, the whole idea was to actually begin a woodwork business. So yeah, that's what I do. There are many. I think I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I enjoy what I do.
How many kids do you have?
Two
kids.
7, 5 boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So clearly, I think you're molding them from scratch.
Absolutely. I'm molding them from scratch and preparing them for the real world. They know what I do. They know I create content. Recently, I was just surprised that they're the ones now coming up with ideas that, oh, Dad, you should do this. I think this will do well. I'm like, how old are you again? So that means they're already embracing the whole idea of what I do. They also know that I have coffee. So they know Quelly coffee. I used to have some sweets called Quelly Sweetie. Those were to jaggery. Yeah, I think you know jaggery.
Yeah.
So there's a way we were packaging, nicely, and then we are calling them Quelly Sweetie. They know Quelly Sweetie, they know Quelly coffee, they know the honey. Right now, actually, when you come to the farm, they will give you a farm tour. They will tell you, these are the hives, don't do this, don't do this. These are the don'ts. This is where the queen lives. This is where, if you get attacked, this is what to do. You need to wear a suit. I was surprised. I was like, what? You guys have been learning. So yeah.
But what's your perspective from homeschooling and the normal government system with your experience right now? Just want to tap into that mindset for a bit.
I think it is going to be obsolete in the next few years. Normal school is going to be, because I feel like they fill you with a lot of data that currently is just available at the fingertip. I don't need to cram nothing. I just need to Google it and I have it immediately. So what will matter? Life skills and what you can be able to do with your hands. That one you cannot Google. You have to learn from step and get to know it through experience, which school don't teach. Unless you can afford, I haven't been to schools that pay thousands of shillings, but I don't know whether they offer those life skills. They try, maybe, I don't know. But homeschool is the way to go, because then you're able to determine exactly what you want your kid to learn. You watch, you see their interest, you tap into it, and you invest, put your money into it. And a few years, when they are 16, when those kids, like my kids who are now doing woodwork, when they will be 16, they will say they have 16 years of experience. You can't compare them with somebody who is 28 coming out of campus and now wants to start life and doesn't know nothing. You can't. And with that skill, I'm telling you, they will come and charge you 50 Gs to make for you a coffee table and you will pay because you don't have the skill. But if it was just any other skill of what's the color of the flag of Mauritius,
You just Google it.
That's one way to
they
put
don't
it.
even need to Google. They'll ask Siri.
Yeah, they'll ask Siri, but-
Siri, what's the color of Siri? The color, and they'll give them a lot of data, in a split second. So that's going to be obsolete. Actually, I was surprised that there's an NGO in Kisumu, I don't know the name, that is already currently preparing people for what they call home-based learning. That is going to, like in 10 years. So they're already culturing people and preparing them for that transition. I was surprised. I was like, oh, well, good. I'm way ahead of time.
Well,
That's interesting. I think they also avoid all those traumas of like being bullied by kids. I think that's one of the biggest things.
and
like
the pressure of exams.
pressure
Yes,
of exams.
yes.
Yeah, you just avoid all of that. And
Learning should not be pressurizing. And I mean, even the traditional way, long time ago, learning was you watch as you do. So if your family people are carpenters, you start learning carpentry as young as 2. By the time your dad is retiring, or rather by the time you are a teenager, I mean, you have skills. You are good at what you do. So that trade is actually known in that family for generations. Right now, that thing is not there.
it's lost. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is lost. People are just all over the place. That's why people are jumping from one thing to the other, you're just trying out and seeing which one will work.
That's so true, because I don't know about what primary school you went to. I went to a government primary school and they used to whoop our ass. So I'm not lying to you. My handwriting is good right now.
Because you're
Teacher, and respect to you. But she used to whoop the shit out of us.
Was
Or like caning, bamboo.
Yeah, I know,
and
I
you
know,
which
I
one-
know.
and the green bamboo, the one that
doesn't break. It's
you
just
know.
flexible.
Oh man, so I understand. Like, there's so much pressure. Your parents always expect you to be the top 3,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then there's always this negative mindset from them. If he can come number 1, why can't you?
Yes.
So then they don't appreciate you for what you've done. It's more like push till then the kid gives up.
Yeah, then you just don't feel
You
good
just
enough.
crash.
Yeah.
Or if it works, it will work up to a certain point, then you just crash.
So I want to reel this back to the farm.
Yes.
Take us through the farm tour.
So I think how the farm landed into my hands. My farm, I think, is slightly over 10 acres or something. So that is ancestral land. And how it came to my hands was that my father had about 3 brothers. All of them are late. So all of them passed on. Their wives passed on. I have a few cousins, girls, who are currently in college. And so I'm the only gentleman in the family. So technically, I'm the one who is the custody of the farm is on my hands. So I grew up there for the first 12 years. And then when my folks passed on, I was taken in by my mother's side. The ones who now started raising me. So for the past 20 years plus, I wasn't there. So all these things of people passing on and, the place just becoming sort of deserted, I was not at home. So fast forward, I'm grown up. I've not been there for 20 plus years. And I got a wife, I got kids. In my head, I'm like, okay, I'm in this Nairobi. I'm chasing life. Things are moving so fast. I've encountered being homeless not once, not twice. And I've not had anywhere to go, and unlike other people, if like what they say in Nairobi, if Nairobi life becomes hard, you can go to Shags. Me, I didn't feel like I had that Shags, because at Shags there was nobody. There was just that land and a grandmother who later on got a stroke, and now she's half paralyzed and she's under my care now. So I looked and I was like, hey, I can't continue with this life, man. I need to do something. I need to go and establish a foundation back at home. Not just for me, but even for my kids. I don't want my kids in the future, as they're hustling in London, in China, and life becomes unbearable, they feel like they don't have anywhere to go. Like they're just between a hard rock, a rock and a hard place, I mean. So that's when it was like, we need to go home. Started talking to my wife. We exchanged ideas. And she was like, that would be a good idea. But now the problem was, people had quite forgotten about me. So I was like, now what do I do? How will I just go and be like, I'm the person, and, allow me into the community? So what I did, I threw a party. So this is an idea for anybody who was lost in the city and doesn't know how to go back home. I threw a party. I did a homecoming party. And it was just after my wedding, a few gifts that I was given. I said, okay, what am I going to do with this money? Let me go home. I threw a big party. Guys came, people danced, isikuti, and just like that, I got integrated into the community. And I said, good, now that's first step one done. Step two was now, how do I come to live here? There's no house. There's virtually nothing. I can't do this. We came back to the city and started now planning on how to go back. And the planning was that, one, we realized that we needed money. Contrary to what people think, that when life is unbearable, then you can just run at home. That wasn't the case, especially for me, who didn't even have anything at home, really. So I started planning. It was like, how are we going to get money? We need money. We need to start planning on investment when we go home. What do we have? Okay, we have land. Okay, there's a small hut there that belonged to my grandmother. Okay, that's a good start. It can act like a site house. We just need to spouse it nicely and it will be good to go. What else do we have? Okay, we have the community. At least they know us. Good, that's a plus. All right. But now we need to use the land to be able to help us and sustain, more or less like for self-sustainability. How do we make sure that the land can sustain us? And so we realized that we needed to start doing short-term investment, medium-term, and long-term. All right, I would say that's good. All these things need cash. Beekeeping was one of the short-term things that we needed. It's medium to long-term, because the first harvest takes 9 months, and then the next harvest takes 3 months. So it's short-term, long-term, depending on how you go about it. And then the other investment that we put up was banana plantation. That was a medium-term, because bananas take 1.5 to 1 year to mature. And then the next long-term investment was avocado farming, which now takes 3 to 4 years. So we were like, okay, that's now a good plan. But these things need to be secure. So you need to fence the property, blah, blah, blah. So we calculated that and realized that we needed cash. So that's why we came back to the city. So when we came back to the city, what I did, I made the first move home. I'm the one who went there, like somebody going to do a reconnaissance or something. So I went there and stayed there for like 3-4 months. So for the 4 months, I tested a number of these things. So I planted maize and beans, which is a short term. I planted cassava, which is long term, it takes 1 year. And then I planted bananas, which currently they are supposed to be harvested now, actually. and stayed there for a while, interacted with the community, watched over things, learning the dynamics, because the village also is a society, it's a functioning. You have to know the system, the economic system, the social system. How does this function? Because it moves money, it moves cash. And after doing that, I came back to the city. 4 months later, they sent us the harvest. We had harvested maize, we had harvested beans, we had harvested peanuts. Cassava was now almost, that was a bit late, which actually helped us survive when now we moved. When now we were moving now to Shags, is when the cassava now was now getting ready. And that is actually what we survived with.
How were
that
you
period.
guys raising cash while you were in the city the first time around?
So what happened is that we have a company, actually. We have a company called RMM Africa. So RMM Africa does digital marketing, branding, PR, event organizing, such kinds of stuff. So we had pitched, and through a referral, we got a good deal. We got somebody that gave us a deal. And we did that project. And when that money came,
The smile.
when that money came, do you know why I'm smiling? Because we had been waiting for that kind of money for a long time as a family. And because since we started our life, whatever we were surviving with were things that we had been given by our parents, specifically Rachel's parents. They were kind enough to get chair, get this, start with life. So we had been waiting to, like every Nairobi person, when you get now money or you get a salary increase, you're like, let me now improve my life or take my life higher. So when that money came, we're like, hey, do we go the normal Nairobi person, go and get a car, move to a better area? I was like, no, that is not going to be sustainable. I'm going to buy those things, put them up, then what am I going to do next? So we just said, this is it. This is the time to move. And that is the money that we took. And I went home, started doing the fencing, did the chain link, put up the avocado farm, started putting up the banana farm, put maize, beans. And that's where the money came from, really. And it was first money that we received that was a lump sum, and we were like, this is it. This is the sign that we've been looking for. Initially, we had wanted to go, but it was like, hey, you need money to sustain yourself there. Then the second thing, which is also a very good plus, is remote working. So both of us have been doing remote work. My wife does social media management for a few brands. So he does 2 hours, 3 hours for this brand, 2, 3 hours for this brand a day. So that also ensured that there was some income that was coming in, at least even for one that can be able to sustain you while you are at on the ground. So that's how we got the money.
Okay, the most curious question I have is, how did you learn how to farm? Was it any experience that you had? Because there are many people who get into farming.
Yes.
But they do it because farming has good money, for sure.
Yes.
But they don't know how to farm.
Let me tell you, from my experience right now, one, I was raised in a farm. First 12 years, I was completely in shags, being a complete shag boy. Like, you are in the farm by 5 in the morning, digging by hand. You get yourself to school. You come back home. You have a number of chores to do. So I had known that life. So I had a bit of what to do in the farm. So even doing it physically myself wasn't that of a big deal. Although I have a farm hand and other people that help me in the farm, but I can do it. If they don't do it, I can show them how to do it. I can tell them, don't piss me off. I can do it myself, So that was one. Number two, what I have come to learn about farming is that it's not about the books. You can study all you want in books and read, but farming is experience. You have to be there to learn. You have to plant, because there are very different things, tiny things that affect the farm. You can think that you've got it by the book. That, like for instance, I went home, I got a farm, I decided, let me do maize. Okay, got the right seeds, So I thought, or rather, right now we don't even know what legit seeds are anymore. But let's just go by the book. I got the right seeds, got fertilizer, tilted the land properly as by the book that you have to do it twice, planted the seeds, weeded twice as it's supposed to be weeded, did top dressing, but the thing failed miserably. I got just not even below half of what I was supposed to get. So how do you explain that? So you have to do that and be able to go through that experience for you to be able to learn by yourself what went wrong. Okay? So I evaluated and found out that our farm had been leased out to different people. During the time that I was away, these 20 years, different people were leasing the farm. So the farm is big, 4 acres. So somebody has taken half an acre, quarter an acre, and they're all doing different stuff, putting different things to the soil. So that affected, as much as I was doing my own stuff, these other things were affecting the soil. Okay? So there are many other factors that affect farming that you have to first of all do for you to learn. I've done the same with, I do Skuma Wiki. I've done the same. I've had to, first of all, my first planting was more or less like, let's learn. This is an experiment. We're in a lab. Let's make mistakes. Let's learn from those mistakes. Let's know, because it's not just about planting. It's also about market. How does the market work? Where do you sell these products? Which is the best seeds that work? You can be told in Nairobi by your friend in Nairobi who is in Murang'a that, you know what, F1 or F2 works best in Murang'a, but you try it in your place and it fails. You know, you could even ask your neighbor there that, you know what, which seeds do you use? Then you try them on your land and it fails. Maybe your land, the acidity is low, is higher. Or, you know, or his has not been farmed for 20 years and he's farming it for the first time. So there are many factors that affect farming beyond what books tell you. You have to experience to know.
So that means that your first round of planting is basically it's an upfront. Would it be right to say wasted investment? But it needs to be made.
One thing that I know about farming, and which is incredible as soon as you start farming, is that it is the fastest compounding interest. I mean, 1 grain can save the world. If everything was lost and you only had 1 grain remaining, it is enough to save humanity, because you can plant it, and when it grows, you're sure you're going to get 200 seeds out of it. And from those 200 seeds, you plant back, and before you know it, you have 2, 3, 4 bags of maize. So once you put it, what I can say that don't expect too much. Don't be like, I have this 50,000, I want to put it, I want to get 150,000. No, just put it and be flexible, be free. Whatever happens, happens. You might be surprised and you're like, wow, you've made 200,000. But you can also be surprised. What I know is that you can never go on a loss completely with farming. At least you will be able to recuperate what you invested. On the very least. Unless some hailstone comes and just does complete damage, or a fire or locusts, then you'll have probably a complete loss. But other than that, you'll always still get something.
That's a good piece of advice to manage expectations, because I know one of the things my dad tried running a farm before we built Shraddha House.
Yeah.
And man, he suffered. Because again, like a lot of people were telling him, oh, planted this, it's going to do so well. It does well over here. Yeah. So his expectations were so high. I know he tried planting strawberries. And we were sitting here calculating, wow, from this 40,000 investment, we're going to get to 350K. This is amazing. We put the strawberries on the ground. And you're just like, okay, wait. We didn't realize who are we going to sell these to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, that's one thing that I wanted to mention as well. That farming is very interesting. That when you think that it is all in there, okay, let me get it right in plowing, right seeds, getting the right fertilizer, planting, and then I weed. You can experience loss at any point. You can experience it at you're harvesting. So post-harvest loss is a big thing. You can experience it at the market level, in that now you are told, okay, watermelons do very well and they make good money. So you go plant, you have your own lorry of watermelon, and then watermelon has flooded the market from Tanzania. And now what you thought was going to sell for 1 shilling for each is now 10 for 1 shilling.
Yeah.
All right. So you can experience loss at any point. So the best advice I would give anyone who would like to get into farming is that you need to start to work from the market backwards. So get market first and then sell the product first before you even get it. So you better have the problem of that you have so much demand that you can't meet than have the product, but the market is not there. For instance, I'll give you an example. My honey, my honey that I sell, I started showcasing through my content that, you know what, guys, I've just gotten my first hive, my second hive, and now I have 10 hives. My first hive has been colonized. You know, taking people through that step by step, until by the time I was announcing that I'm harvesting, that honey was sold out completely, like pre-orders and paid orders. So by the time I was harvesting, I didn't even have enough honey. I had to outsource and see, okay, my neighbor, do you have honey? Is it of the right quality as mine? Good. For me to meet that demand. So what did I do? I created that demand first before the product was out. But what many people do, they do the reverse. They hear, okay, beekeeping has a lot of cash. So they go, and then there are these people that cheat people, the hive makers. Them, they just, after selling you the hive. So they tell you can even have as 200 hives. So you go take 100 hives, you already calculated that one hive gets 10 kilos, 1 kilo is 1,000 bob. This is good. After 3 months, this is good money. So you put your stuff, then you harvest and you realize, where are those people that are supposed to buy honey? Where are they? You know? The other thing,
where are the bees? my dad built like 7 hives. He's just like, I'm ready. Just one hive. Bees, they come in and then boop, they disappeared after a while. It's tough, man. It's brutal out there.
But that's an amazing strategy, working on the supply chain, working reverse.
Yes.
I'll tell you something that we tried as a couple of friends.
Yes.
So we went to a piece of land. We saw that we want to lease it out. And it's always my dream to become a farmer as well. So we've gone there, we've taken soil, put it in a container, sent it somewhere on our Wayaki way to test it, and they told us this can grow. Bullshit. Nothing grew there. So I guess where you're coming from, you really have to understand the locality, what grows.
Yes.
Experimenting.
Yes.
And also, again, those people who are there know what grows best.
Yes.
Because I can't come. Sorry, what locality is your farm at?
Kakamega, between Kakamega and Siaya.
All right. So let's say if I come to Siaya and let's say if watermelons don't grow in Siaya and I try to say that, I have a soil test and watermelons can grow, it won't work.
Yes.
So it's best to speak to the local people and understand what grows best within their soil.
Yes. One thing that I've also learned, there are 2 things that are very important in farming. That is water. Water is very, very important in farming. Because one thing that can affect farming very easily is the rains. So, at home, many farmers rely on the rains. So they're like, you need actually, first of all, to live in that area. If possible, you can even just stay there and just study. How are those people behaving? I realize that there are times that when they farm, they're not even in a hurry. They can even take 2 weeks to just plow. But there's a season, like for the short rains, it's a marathon. Like, things are out, people are slashing as they're digging, and planting at the same time. Like, you are rushing through, because if you miss 1 day or 2 days, that crop will fail. So you have to be timely and do it at the right time. So that is not something that they will teach you in school. Even if they told you that you need to be timely, do you know what timely actually means? Have you conceptualized it? Or is it that when you say that you're going to plant on Wednesday, you plant on Wednesday? No, you have to watch the rains. How are they moving? It's going to rain from next week. I can see the rains. And you plant. And again, the amazing thing about farming, again, it's not also just about books. It's I guess that's why those long time ago people used to pray to the gods. It's spiritual. It's spiritual more than it is just books and everything. Because you find that one season people have planted, they've got bumper harvest. Then the next season, not such bumper harvest. What has happened? Isn't it the same soil? Isn't it the same people? Haven't they done the same things? Why is it that the harvest is not consistent? All right? But like I said, one of the most important things is water. So if you can get water, it means that then your crops can be able to, you don't rely on, let me check the rains and the patterns. You just sprinkle at the right time. That means that you shall have solved half the battle. Half the battle.
So what's your source of water right now?
Sorry?
What's your source of water?
So we have a river nearby.
Oh, okay.
Yes. My property goes up to the river. So actually, that is actually where the community even comes to get water from. So it's possible. I bought a pump, so I can just put the pump and pump water. But what I've realized that the pump is limiting for me. I can only be able to use it on up to maybe 100, 200 meters. And my farm is like over a kilometer. So how do I utilize the whole farm? So actually the next idea, which if somebody was to give me cash right now, the first thing I will do is to drill a borehole, because water table is like 40 feet, 80 feet. No, not 80 feet, 40, 50 feet. I'm already in the water table. So drill, build a tower, put tanks, and let that water slide by gravity. Put my pipes. Perfect. So that's the next plan. If some good cash comes in, once I do that, now we are rolling. Now we are starting to cruise. I can now put it on my avocados, because avocado need very little maintenance, water and manure twice a year, and you just watch as it grew, and you do the pruning, and once you start plucking it now, it never stops. So
avocados are like mangoes, right? They grow up really big.
Yes.
And then
they never
stop.
And then you just pluck. And the whole idea is to actually just make avocado oil and, etc.,
That's
etc.
an amazing idea.
Yeah, not just sell it as an avocado. Avocado already has demand. And what has also happened, there are a number of companies that have come in that are processing avocado. So they are coming into the villages and picking all the avocados. So soon, which is already happening, finding avocado to eat is going to be very hard. It's going to be very expensive, because it is all taken by, because the factories they don't care. They don't care whether it is ripe. They just take everything. What they need is the oil. All right. So once they take everything and little remains, one that gets to the market for you and I to eat is going to be expensive.
You mentioned spirituality in farming.
Yes.
And on the forum, we talk a lot about spirituality.
Yes.
So is there certain practices that you have in place, or do you just question it, or have you taken that seriously and you've implemented spirituality as part of your strategy?
Generally, living in the farm, you can't live in the farm where I live and not be spiritual. Because, my friend, where I live, we call them cob houses. So the way the cob houses are built, actually, I put one on Airbnb, and I want some people who are interested to come and experience. It's like you are in a tent, but not really in a tent. It's a cozy tent because it's warm inside, but you can listen to all the sounds, the crickets. When it rains, you feel it. When somebody just walks outside, you feel them. But you are in a house. So what I realize is that you cannot miss to experience nature. There are times that we get out in the middle of the night and we find a full moon. And you look at it and you're like, what? This can't be normal. I now understand why people used to worship moons. like the sheer beauty and just awesomeness of it. You're like, there's even last month or so, there was an experience where the moon came even closer. Oh my goodness. And that is just one. The next thing, the wind. When the wind blows, and my farm is huge, and we even have a forest that we planted, you see how the plants are moving. Like when you're just seated outside and you're just watching nature, nothing, you are not in a hurry, you're just calm, you're just absorbing the moment, you realize that, hey, I live in a spiritual world. All right. So the question is whether, embraced it, I've taken it seriously. I've always been a spiritual person beyond everything. Spirituality controls my beliefs, controls my decisions, controls my actions, because I feel like we are all connected human beings and nothing happens by chance, including this moment. Why didn't it happen last year? Why didn't it happen 10 years ago? Why now? And we might not even realize why it has happened now, but we might realize it maybe in the future, maybe even the next 10 years, we don't know. Or even the moment started being created long time ago. And I will tell you, I'll give you an example. For some reason, my wife has a connection with the Indian community, for instance. Very, very interestingly. And because before she used to do food reviews, and and she's very good with connections and knowing the right person, going to this, until you ask, where did you know Kishan? So Kishan is one of the Indian friends that we know. They live somewhere up here. And we found ourselves in their house and with our kids. And until people ask, how do you know these people? And you might find out that it is from that moment 4 or 5 years ago that has actually led to this moment. Right? So that is something that you can't explain. You can't say that it is 1 + 1 that really led to 2, but it's a connection. There's a connection, and there's some power that is controlling everything that is beyond our sight, right? So I practice spirituality in all aspects of my life. I might not say that I'm the kind of spiritual person that people think immediately when they think about somebody who is spiritual. They think about somebody who is probably speaking in tongues and probably goes to church or goes to the temple every day and is no. I feel it is something that I live. It's something that is within me. You have to experience me to know that actually this person, there's something beyond just 1 + 1 = 2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point you've brought up. A lot of people think spirituality is religion.
Yes.
It's nothing to do with religion. It's more of like how you've mentioned, being so connected with nature. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned what you're experiencing at the farm. I was just like, I feel so jealous, man. This guy is connected, man.
Rajveer I think you always wanted to live or want to live that kind of life. You just chill and be connected to nature.
And be connected to nature. And that's like the whole concept behind like Shraddha House as well, like having that shags type of concept, and you're just surrounded by all this nature, and it's just like, and then that now it sets your mindset. And then when you're going to, of course, when you're planting it, you're not, I don't know, you can agree or disagree with me, but you're not planting with that state of mind that I'm doing this for money.
Absolutely.
You're planting with love.
Yes.
And love is like the highest form of spirituality.
Yeah. That is actually something that I realized, and we've had to learn the hard way. Both plants and animals, these things is like they have personalities and feelings. Even within plants, in my avocado farm, you'd think that they're supposed to look the same, but you find this one grows very fast, looks very healthy. This one doesn't seem like it is growing. It is just there. To the extent that it's like these plants know when you visit. Like they can know when this person genuinely loves us. We see it even with people who try to do potted plants, for instance. There's an old guy, she would give us seeds to go and plant, like when we were little. And when we planted, you'll find that there's someone whose plant will thrive. There's another one who they will just die immediately. There's another one who they will start growing, looking so healthy, then at some point they just disappear. Why? And yet you just planted them in the same soil. It means plants know when you truly care. They can feel it. And you will find that your plants can thrive when other people's things have already failed. There was the same weather patterns, there was everything. But why is it that this person's things are thriving? Why is it that in the same farm, there's an avocado that is yielding like crazy until it's just struggling to carry them? There is one that is flowers, starts having the avocado, then drops all of them. And then there is one that just has few, doesn't bear a lot. Why? So these things have and it grows even into animals. I've not gotten fully into animals. I'm just still studying and seeing, okay, how are these things? But I realized they also know. Even good example is chicken. That is what we got into immediately when we got home, because we wanted to eat eggs, the source of protein and everything. So we started putting up eggs. So in the farm, because the farm is big, there's a homestay that I'd made for my family. So there is where we were keeping the hens. But where we were staying and sleeping was a different part of the farm, which is where my grandmother is. Do you know, for some reason, even though we would wake up, go and give those chicken food, they will not stay there. They will always come up where we are and just hang there. We studied that and we were like, this is interesting. Like even them, they just want to be where people are, where there is love, where there is warmth, where there's different activities going on. So it's not about food, as we thought about. Once you're fed, you are good, you have water, clean places to sleep. That's good. You should stay there. Why are you coming here? So there is something deeper that connects us to nature. Another thing that I've realized, people fear snakes, for instance, but snakes do not bite.
Oh yeah, you fear snakes a lot. Yes.
we all fear snakes. Even me, damn, if I was to see a snake. But I realize that we are the enemies to the snake more than they're even enemies to us. Right? A snake will never bite you until it is provoked and pushed to that limit to do it. It will not just come and I'm looking for Shah and let me bite. No. In fact, it will just go its own way if it's not disturbed. Actually, we can just coexist with snakes if we actually, it's our aggression that makes the snake respond aggressively. Otherwise, if you are just to be normal, okay, it's a snake passing, good, let it go. And you make that normal. You will actually realize that snake, soon even you can just touch it and it will not do anything because it doesn't feel threatened. Right?
So you have all those people who they can hang snakes around their necks.
Yes. It's fine. An uncle of mine lived with a snake in the house. It was interesting. Where he was sleeping, there was timber was stacked. So there was a snake there. He didn't know. So he was just sleeping there every day, waking up. So the snake was there feeding on the rats. When there's a rat, it's feeding, just sleeping there. It's just nice, comfortable. It's not bothering anyone. In fact, it knows when to operate. It only operates when the guy is not there. So when it does its own thing, when it knows, it has already even studied the patterns of the guy. It knows by this time the guy will be here, by this time the guy is sleeping. So it also is like, I'll maintain my space, you maintain yours. And they were just living nicely until one day when he was decided to remove those things, his dog is here.
This reminds me. I don't know if you guys have watched this movie called The Gods Must Be Crazy.
Yes.
Crazy movie. It literally reminds me of. I feel like I'm in that visualization right now. Have you watched it? It used to come back in the day on KBC and KTN. Oh man.
Yeah. Every time they used to bring it. It's crazy. It's hilarious movie.
How did this word Quelly come up? Quelly means truth in Kiswahili.
Means true.
True.
Yes. True. So the word Quelly came at a point when we had suffered a lot of loss in the family. My wife had just lost the brother to depression. We were going through a tough financial situation. Then a friend of ours who we actually met through Instagram, said, oh, why don't you guys come to Diani to cool off? I mean, it's been tough. So why not? So we went down to Diani, stayed there for a few days. Then as we were just having a conversation, because we are always entrepreneurs, and whenever we move to a new area, we're always looking, okay, what's the opportunity here? What can bring us income here? So we asked around, and we were like, she was like, she can't find good coffee. She likes coffee, but she can't find good coffee. And in that moment, we were like, what if we sold coffee? We have coffee at home. Can we start our own brand? And quickly, I think it was in that moment where she was saying she can't find good, true, real coffee. Coffee ya Quelly, like true coffee. And we're like, Quelly? Quelly, true, authentic Kenyan homegrown coffee. That's the tagline. And we came back to the city, to Nairobi. We started, okay, how do we want the logo to look like? And we started brainstorming. I had a shirt at that time had been bought by my ex. some African print. And I remember we removed that shirt, took a picture, and we sent our designer. And we were like, this is the inspiration, 3 ideas here and there. And that's how Quelly came to be.
So there's something that I love here that you've... okay, I'll read what you've written behind it. Quelly coffee is Swahili for true coffee. Handpicked and sorted from Kenyan highlands, Quelly coffee maintains its original fruity and volcanic flavor. At Quelly, we promote fair trade.
Yes.
That's number 1.
Yes.
Especially for women coffee farmers.
Yes.
That's number 2. And laborers.
Yes.
Let's dig into that mindset. What brought you to, women empowerment, fair trade, and, supporting the laborers?
It was all from the idea that when we went to my wife's place, we realized that women are the people who spend a lot of the time in the farms, either picking the coffee, weighing it, taking it to the market. So there was a lot of work that was being done by the women. But unfortunately, when the money comes, it doesn't necessarily go to them. It goes to the men, technically. So that is what inspired us to be like, we would like to be able, because we can be able to experience the whole value chain and get the money that people are getting out there, then we can be able to pay or give or, the women better remuneration. So that's what inspired that. Also, we felt like sometimes us, because we are farmers and we've watched it being done, we know the kind of work that goes into it. It felt, and as opposed to the other generation, because this is the 3rd generation. We are the 3rd generation now, coffee farmers. The other generations didn't understand nothing about market. Actually, market belongs to a few people who could afford an air ticket and go to America or come to Nairobi, explore a bit of network. So they monopolized the market. So whatever our grandparents were given is what they accepted. But now we are in this 3rd generation of us who have access to social media. I can get a market at the tap of my finger, right? Not just the Kenyan market, but even the outside market. And we have internet now. You can Google and see, okay, my coffee is being bought at 50 shillings a kilo and they're selling it at 3,000, 4,000 bob a kilo. What? And then, I'm the one who has done all the work just because they have the market. But now the playing field is level. I can do it. And that's why we decided let's explore the whole value chain. And if I can get that 4,000 bob, what stops me from not paying the women in the farm 50 shillings and paying them even 300 shillings? That would be a huge jump, right? Or even 1,000 bob. And me, I get 3,000 shillings, right? So that is what led to us.
But how are you breaking the cartels? Because tea and coffee is tough business, like to break into those chains.
Do you want him to get shot?
It is true that I believe that any business has cartels. Okay, and if you are always putting that out as the barrier to entry, plus I figured out that there are other things that are also that's just propaganda, so that it becomes barrier to entry. Because again, if everybody floods the market, it wouldn't become a lucrative business anymore. That's why even gold is gold. It's more or less like a members only club. There's no way you can get into the business, or diamond, but it's just any other business. If you have the interest, you can do your own research, start slowly learn the ropes. You'll soon find yourself, you are the cartel. Plus again, the cartels do not stay cartels forever. They pass on and they leave other people. So if you start now, by the time they're passing on, you'll be the cartel. So that's the kind of mindset that we went with into coffee. But apart from that, my father-in-law has been at the top level in coffee industry as the MD, and so he has networks of coffee people around. And number two, because right now we've not scaled really huge, like when we start now moving 2 containers, 4 containers a month. Now you are big league. So the question is, can we do it? Now that is what now we are getting, because now we are getting people who are interested to even put their money in, because they have seen the brand, how the brand story has come along, how it has developed. So there are people who are interested to come and put money. So the cartels haven't been interested as much because I haven't affected them as much. I mean, I'm just somebody who's still just scratching the surface. But the moment I start moving 3 containers a month, 4 containers a month, 5 containers a month, they'll be like, what? What is going on? So the question has always been, am I able to do that? Yes, we are able to do that. One, because of that connection. First, we are farmers. My father-in-law has 7 brothers. All of them have coffee farms. So that is already capacity, all right? My father-in-law has connection on the ground, right? He knows farmers. He has been he's an agronomist. He has been doing extension services for coffee farmers for years, like 25 years plus. Right now, he heads a number of community positions, like, in the church, Catholic Church, X here. So he already knows the community. So going to the community and convincing them that, what, there is this guy is called Quelly. You know what? They can offer you better price. Give your coffee to them. It will be much easier, because it is one thing to have money, but it's another thing to go and get that coffee on the ground. Nobody will sell it to you. Right now, they're already taking to cooperative. They're comfortable with it. So who are you? Are you going to offer any security? Where have you come from? Those are the questions that they're going to ask you. So you might have the money, but you need somebody who is able to go and convince the community to give you the coffee. Otherwise, they just take it where they already take it.
So having the right connections is very important.
It's very important. So once I go and I now start where I convince the farmers, and they now start giving me that coffee, and I'm moving 3 containers, 4 containers, then
you have a better supply chain for sure.
And now then the cartels will now start looking for me, because now it means that where that coffee was going initially, it is not going. So they are not probably able to meet their own demand. So then that is now we'll start having issues. Are we ready for that? We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
So here at the Men's Forum, we really try elevate men's mental health and their mindsets.
Yes.
From your journey, it clearly shows that despite all the challenges that you've been through, you've been super strong-minded. How do you maintain being, calm, peaceful? Because knowing that you're married, you have 2 kids, keeping in track and balancing all of it. How do you do it as a man?
Wow, that's a very good question. And one, it starts by getting the right woman. If you get the wrong one, then it's just like from the pan to the fire. Getting the right woman is because she's your first support system. So if the immediate support system is not there, you're already crashing, right? So by support system, I mean she's not giving you unnecessary pressure, okay? Because a lot of men's pressure come from the immediate family first, because this person is like, they want X, they want Y, they want Z, and already you're already dealing with a lot Not that you don't know. Some of women, ask for things that you're fully aware of, but them, they're just bringing that pressure. I want this, I want that. So first of all, having the right woman that understands you and understand the effort that you're making, the progress that you're making, and is patient, that knows that, what, Rome wasn't built in a day. My guy is making X and Y steps. They might be baby step, they might be big step, but he is making steps. And now he's able to support you and encourage you. That is the first win. Right? Number 2, who you surround yourself with. The friends that you surround yourself with. Because as they say, show me 2 of your people and I'll show you who you are. All right? So the people that you surround yourself with, are they contributing to you having, losing your mind, or they are contributing to enriching that mind? By support, I mean, they people that when you are in trouble, they can come through, right? And by coming through, I mean, are they able to offer their time? It's not always just about money, just their time to come and chill with you or call you over, be your company. They will really help in terms of your mental health and ensuring that you are stable throughout. Very key. Number 3, I think, would be exercise. So for me, I think when I was going through the toughest of seasons, it found out that one of my hustles that I was also hustling was a fitness trainer. So I thought quick on my feet, marshaled a few ladies in the community, and I didn't even have a gym. I was like, outdoor fitness is the best. Let's do outdoor. So I will take them on a run, do the aerobics with them. And I didn't know that by doing that, it was benefiting my mental health as well. Because that exercise, pulling up, just rejuvenates your mind, and that helped. And I think the last thing I would say will be to shut off any negative thing that is not in line with where you want to go. So if there's somebody who is coming in and all they're coming in with is, look at you, why are you not this? You shut that off. Anybody who is coming with, okay, you want to go there, to X place, the fare is 500 bob. I think I can give you 30 shillings. That is the person that you encourage. I mean, he has contributed. He's bringing solutions. When you are going through a tough season, you don't want somebody who brings negativity. You're already in a negative situation. So you need somebody who brings solutions, because solutions then lead to you having a better mental health.
This would be a perfect segue to talk about, you mentioned you were homeless twice while you were in Nairobi.
Yes.
What was that journey like?
It was a tough journey because, one, in Nairobi, as you know, is always every man for himself. Like, you could even be living here and your immediate neighbor, you don't give a, what they do. You don't know who they are. So given that kind of life, going homeless is a very hard time in Nairobi. So
what led to that?
We were jobless. We didn't have jobs. Technically, like you heard me say, we've been employed off and off. One happened one was immediately after campus, because that is when we had our firstborn. So after campus, my wife had a job, right? Me, I didn't have a job yet. So she went, got a house, got in. Then where she was employed, because she was already pregnant, they didn't give her like leave, paid leave, and then you can come back, those kind of stuff. They just dismissed, So it was just a matter of time before the rent, the money ran out. And now we were kicked out. So when we were kicked out, we had to now move from a relative to another. A relative, this one hosts you for a week or 2 weeks. You have to move to another one for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then finally, it was just too much, because even the relatives that you're moving into, their space is already too congested, right? They're just giving you probably their living room. The house already has too many people, so it's tough, And me and my wife, we had come from different lives completely, whereas for me, I could actually bear it, because that is a life that I had experienced before. For her, it was a bit difficult. And I had to be the person that encourages her, telling her that, the situation will change. This is just a season. And she had to go back to her parents. That was the first homelessness. The second one came when now we had moved somewhere here, I think in Karura. So it was during COVID time. I had gotten a job to Coast. I did that job for a few months. She was expecting our second baby. Funny enough, all these homelessnesses, we are always having a small baby. So I quit that job. And the reason why I quit was because they couldn't even give me even 2-3 days to be home as my kid is being delivered. And number two, the money that they were offering me wasn't commensurate to what I was giving up, which is being away from my family. I mean, if you are going to be away from your family, it better be worth it, right? So it wasn't worth it. So I decided to quit and choose my family because that is what I had made a decision that I wanted to be there, no matter what. So I came home, stayed a bit, then got another job in Nairobi. I told them, if you have a job in Nairobi, please let me know. So they had a job in Nairobi. They gave me that job. I did it for some 2 months, then COVID hit. And then we were all laid off. So we went back to our entrepreneurship of trying this. And that is very uncertain. There are seasons that you get clients, there are seasons that you don't. So when you get, you are using it in the house. When you don't, you are surviving on the little savings that you have. So that happened for a while. And then for 7 years, we had been planning to quote unquote officialize our marriage. We had never officialized it, like going to our parents, taking people there. And it was also because of the dynamics that I didn't have people at home. Like all my folks were gone. So marshalling people and it needs finances was taking a bit of time. So when we finally did it and did a wedding and then we got some gifts, is when now, you remember what I said, what I did with the gifts? I went and threw a party at home because we had been planning to actually move home, right? So when I went home, immediately after the party, actually when we were planning to come back, is when we got a call that the house has been locked. We were already booked a bus, ready to travel to Nairobi. Like you can't unbook and you can't go back home where you already thrown a bash and your cash is already run out. So it's either you come or you come. So we came. Good thing, the thing that helped during that season is that we had maintained a good social capital. Social capital is better than even the financial capital that you have. If you can create connections, you are already halfway there through life, right? So we had created a lot of connection. How we did it, we didn't have money, we didn't have anything, but Rachel's parents used to send us farm produce. So when they would do, my wife, for some reason, she will just take it, pack, and she texts to this neighbor, texts to this friend, texts to this friend. I'm like, we need it more than these people need it, but we had given and given and given a lot. And now it felt like this season was a season for us to receive. And we actually did receive because a friend hosted us for about a week. During that week, Rachel fell sick. She was admitted in hospital. Me, I'm at home with the kids. I also got sick in this house. Friends came through. The people who just came left, right, and center and contributed money. We settled the hospital bill. Finally, my friend, they were at the coast. They came back to the house. We had to leave now. I went to live with my sister for a while, crashed in her sitting room. My wife, I asked a friend of mine, because during that time, she now got a gig, like a small gig with some NGO along Ngong Road. So I looked for a friend. She went there to stay there for at least a month. Because, we didn't want, she gets that job, you have to look for a house. That money will be over before you know it. So we were like, okay, this is a strategy. Just go there, stay there for 1-2 months. Let's have some savings. Then now we can look for our own place. And that's how we picked ourselves up again.
I think that story is such a true testament of picking the right wife.
Yes.
Because, man, it could have been so easy for her to be like, peace, I'm out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You heard what I said. The first thing, get the right wife. The right partner will get you through that season. If you get the wrong one, it doesn't even matter. The situation doesn't need to be that bad. It can be just this tiny. Things are just chaos, right? So that got us through that season. And then immediately after that, When now she started that job, and then we recovered a bit, got our own place, is when now we got that big contract. And we were just like, this is it. Let's go and settle and find a foundation at home first and late. Then now we can be free to hustle when we come to Nairobi. Then something interesting that we also did is that immediately we got that money. We moved to a house. We got a better house here in Nairobi, where now currently I am staying. And what we did, that is the first time we realized, damn, it is damn expensive to furnish a house. But after we furnished it, we didn't even stay in it. That is when we moved home. And we decided to put the house on Airbnb because we were like, we need money when we're at home. So apart from the online jobs that we do, apart from the little farming that we're going to start and probably they will give us income in the next 3 months, this house can also run itself. And it's also an asset because we are not done with Nairobi. Nairobi is where the money still moves. Even our produce will still have to find its way in Nairobi. So we need an asset in Nairobi. How do we get it and we still cannot afford to buy an apartment? This is the way. Let's get this house on Airbnb, let it maintain itself. Whenever we are in Nairobi, we just block it and we stay for as long as we want. That is what we did.
You're a man who doesn't fear failure at all. No, it's true. Like a lot of men give up after a few incidences like that, having those tough lows in life. Men just shut off. They'll be like, this is my journey. I'm done. I'm giving up. I surrender to the world. Whatever happens, happens. But you guys did not stop putting in the work. Whatever happens, you kept hustling. You fall down, you get up stronger. Truly, truly inspiring. Like even I'm hearing your story and I'm like, I need to be way more grateful in life, Some things that we have, yes, we're grateful, but sometimes when you hear people's journey and how strong you've come out of it, and you're a big social media influencer, and I'm sure you're inspiring a lot of people on your page.
Yeah.
Or it takes a lot of resilience and courage and being brave.
I think also what I'm hearing from your story, man, you put that ego aside. Because
I was about to get there.
Yeah. Like it's very easy to be like, we've got this huge lump sum of money. Like you said, let's go buy a car.
Yeah.
But you had that strategy in your mind and that clear vision that, no, we need to do something sustainable. And so you got that money, you put your ego aside and you're like, let's go and build something that will, even if it's a number of months from now, it's a year from now, it's going to get us better results and put us in a better place.
Absolutely.
Humility, yeah. It's a lot of humility as well from your story.
Yes. And also what I would call it, delayed gratification. Yeah, that instead of me enjoying this now, let me put it in a better way that it's technically, let me start planning for my retirement now. Rather than waiting until I'm 50, is when I start, okay, let me plan for it. Let me start now so that by the time I'm 40, my money is now working for me. So I can relax. I can work when I want. And it is because the things that I put in, I'm now getting results. But lots is, let's just enjoy it now, man. And then when you're 40, late 40s, is when now you're thinking, what? I'm feeling weaker. I cannot put in the much effort I used to put in. Okay, how do I retire? It's a scary place to be in. And another thing about ego is also that for this to work, for you to actually have a woman that is also supportive, you also have to first of all also put that ego aside and be open with them. All right? That is what I did with my wife from the beginning, for us to be able to be doing things together, because if you observe our lives a lot, everything is done together. So it's not like Jeff is the one who figures it out. He will figure it out. No. It is, this is where I come from, this is my background, this is where I want to go. Sell my vision. It's like a pitch. Are you in it? If you're not, I'm cool. I'll proceed, And good thing is that she bought it immediately. And it didn't just stop at getting it immediately. It also took me tapping into her strengths. Right now, I can list for you my wife's strengths. I know what she's good at, which me I'm crappy at, And there are things that I'm excellent at, which she can't survive without. And that is what makes us gel well together, because now when we come together, we're able to leverage on these strengths
Yeah, you complement each other automatically.
Yeah, to progress.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
There's a lot of Kenyans out there
Yeah.
who they get access to their ancestral land,
Yes. Yes.
but then they don't know what to do with it. It's either they don't know what to do with it or they can't raise the capital
Yes.
to do something with it.
Yes.
And that land is just sitting there and they're struggling to make ends meet. What kind of advice would you give to such people?
First of all, I want to say that I empathize with those people because it is a hard place to be in. It is a hard place to be in because, truth be told, land is the basic factor of production. But I've seen instances where people say, why are you in town and you are living miserably and yet you have land? Why can't you go and use it and to better yourself? And it's not just about having land. Like you said, capital. Farming is not that cheap as people think. You have to have, there's cost of labor, there's cost of seeds, there's cost of fertilizer, there is post-harvest handling, which is also a cost, there's storage cost. If I give you that cost, it comes to, just to do probably even less than an acre, it comes to probably 60, 70,000. How many people in Nairobi right now can just go home and have 70,000 to spend? None. Yeah. One thing that I also say that people have been, there are people who have been laughing a lot. They see the kind of house that I live. I live in a hut house or a cob house. That house costed me close to between 90 to 100,000 to build. How many people, who, if they are taken home right now in this Nairobi, told go and build that mad house, will build? None. So you're talking about somebody who, yes, they have land, but they don't even have a house. Okay, so they have to set up from a point of having a house, their own house to live in. Then number two, they have to now have money to start planting just an acre, right? Like I've told you, 70,000. So they have to have 100,000 to build that house, just a basic house, have 70,000 to start that farming, and have upkeep money as they're waiting for that produce to harvest, right? How many are able to afford that? That is, we are already around 250,000. Just 250,000, you need just around that to start surviving. How? You have not even harvested. Once you harvest, you realize that again you need storage, right? You need to build another house, which construction is expensive. Just buying iron sheets and getting steel nails is a lot of cash. So you'll find that there are people even at home right now who don't have chicken in shacks. But when you ask, they just don't have even just 30. Not put 30,000, just 30,000. They don't have 30,000 because just constructing a chicken house, a simple chicken house. You do 1, 2, 3, and you realize it's already 30,000. 30,000. Who has 30,000 just lying around like that? None. So the advice which I would give them is to keep pushing here in Nairobi. Have a vision. First of all, have a vision of what you want to do with your land. What strategy do you want to do with your land? Have it on paper. Do you remember what they say, that a proposal can be worth billions? Have that proposal somewhere stuck. Not for investor, just for yourself. Because you never know when that money is going to come. Just like us. You've seen how we've moved through life like that without even... during all those years, we had not even handled like 100,000 just coming into your hand cash. We are not. But because we already had the plan, when $1 million plus or so came, we already knew what to do with it. So even you have that plan that I want to do X, start from X, Y, Z, and just be ready with it. Continue with your life, continue hustling the way you're hustling. But because it just takes 1 minute, 1 second, and you have crazy amount of money in your hands. And what will you do? You'll be the first one to go and buy a car, go to a better house. Then you realize 6 months later, you can't maintain that car. You can't keep up that house. You're back to where you started. The money that you had is all gone. And then you back to square zero that, hey, if I can get money, I can go back to my shacks. Because I will not want you to go back to shacks just because life has been unbearable, and let me just go back to home to just be a farmer. Because farming is just, we are not in the era where we are just doing farming as I'm just a farmer, just farming for my own food. I have relatives who are farming just for being farming, but right now, we farmed together. Right now, he's already out of maize. He doesn't have maize. He's already gone, and that is his staple food. So he's somebody who is starving, is somebody who is supposed to be given relief food. But he has land. The land that we are farming is part of the shareholder. He also farmed. So if you're going there, that's thinking that I just need to farm, you're going to get more and more into trouble, and you're going to be more and more depressed, and your life is just going to be more and more miserable.
Also empowering the local people, if you can, from here. Being strategic again.
Yes. So what again we did in the community? So one, I have all these strategies, because what I realized at home is that we don't have cash crops. Things that you can just sit and they're passive incomes. So like beekeeping is a passive income. I don't need to be there 24/7 to watch them, but I can check after 2 weeks. I check. Avocado is not something that I have to be there 24/7. It's twice a year, like I said. So empowering the community that you can have such crop. Don't just rely on maize and beans. I did maize and beans, and that work is tedious and doesn't have the returns that I put in. Right? So empowering the community that you can do things differently. You can strategically, put up even 2 hives. For example, if you get 2 hives and you get 7 kilos each, 14 kilos, and you sell even for 500,000, you already have almost 15K a month, which is unheard of in the rural area. If you can get such amount of money, you'll be ahead. I mean, you're already having your skooma there, you're having your stuff there that you're planting. Life will be better, right? So empowering the community from that level is already long term. That is than short term, because it's about shifting the mindset. And once that mindset shifts, and you're both maybe doing beekeeping and you are 100 farmers doing beekeeping, people will come for the bees on the farm. You'll not now be going out there to look for the market, really. So because at the end of the day, people look for capacity. Are you able to supply X tons of honey? So if you are many farmers who can do it, good for you. All of you have money. I see things differently from the central part of Kenya where there's tea. My father-in-law gets money from coffee, gets money from macadamia, gets money from dairy farming, gets money from avocado. He's actually the one that I've used his map and spreadsheet to actually implement my own. Because then you are very comfortable. In 2 months, macadamia money is there. In another 3 months, money has come in. I mean, when will you be broke? Yes, and your kids are already out of school even. You'll even educate your kids easy. I mean,
wow.
And you have not even gone to the point now where you are adding value, like now we are trying to do with the coffee. So if it tries now to add value to the coffee, we are adding value to macadamia. We are adding value because we are supposed to also have Quelly nuts. We are adding value to avocado oil. I mean, you are even going to earn more money.
You mentioned the jaggery sweets. What happened to that?
It's still there. It's that now we realize that what we needed to do, we needed to find how we can mold it from, because we used to buy when they are chunks, and then we have to cut. But now we realize for it to go commercially and to appeal even to the modern town life, you need to find a way that you can create molds that they come branded, just like the KSL sweets, and they are better, much healthier option. Yeah, so it is still in the pipeline. There are a number of products in the pipeline. It's just that maybe the time is not right. When the time is right, they'll come to pass.
But you have the strategy in place.
The strategy is in place. It's just
when the money comes in.
When the money comes.
The good thing is you execute all the ideas that you have. So that is something that is my take home today. That if you have an idea, execute. Work hard for it and keep pushing it.
And if you can't, get somebody who can. Because between me and my wife, she's the starter. She's very good at starting. She's not good at continuing. She gets a burnout. But starting, knowing, okay, this is the idea. So we need X, Y, Z. We can get it from here, and we can start it by this date. We can go to this point, Getting the whole roadmap. She's very good at that. Now where I come in, I can now do the donkey work, because that all is too much for me. I can't lie, and I can't let my ego be like, me, I'm the man, and I can now do everything. No, I accept that is not my strength. Do it. Once you do it, give it to me. You now go and rest, and me run with the job.
You're the hands-on guy.
Yes.
I wish for as many people who watch this or listen to this podcast to just take a little bit and start practicing the same mindset in their life. I feel like even just 10% will take you further, faster, strategy.
Have the strategy.
That is chef's kiss.
Yeah.
And when the money comes in place, boom. Yeah. I relate to that smile that you had when you guys got the gig and you were just like, finally we got it. It was the same thing for me with the Shraddha House.
Yes.
Like that money came in, sold some video footage, and then bam, I was like, I'm going to go build it. It would have been so simple to be like, let me go drive a car. I'm going to impress these girls and blah blah blah. Yeah. But beautiful. Is there anything else that you want to say about Quelly Coffee before we end?
Quelly, brand that we would like to get into each household. We'd like for it to be a brand that is embraced by Kenyans, and Kenyans feel like this is something that we own. We'd like it for it to be a brand that whenever somebody visits Kenya, they can live with it and feel like they're living with a piece of Kenya. We want it to be a brand that somebody is proud to have in their own house. That, even though I can have X amount of other coffee brands, but this one is a treasure. Even if you come to my home and I prepare you this coffee, you are special. You're special. So we are building it brick by brick. And we trust and believe that it's going to get there.
Kahawa tamu kweli.
Kahawa tamu. Kahawa ya kweli.
Kahawa ya kweli, by the way.
So another thing about Quelly is that Quelly is also a very common Swahili word. People exclaim, ni kweli. So...
And it's in all different expressions.
Quelly, yeah. So it's something that is very relatable to Kenyans. They use it a lot. It's just a matter of time before it gets there.
No, we wish you the best, and we hope that probably next year when we're sitting here again, speaking about the brand, it will be 100-fold, 1,000-fold, and we're going to explore that journey.
And I will ask Quelly to sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. That will come to pass.
Yeah.
Don't think that you've just mentioned it in vain.
No, it will.
You've already cast out the spell.
We've cast out the spell.
It will come to pass.
We're spiritual guys.
Actually, all the things that we've mentioned, have all come to pass. Yeah, I've seen them come to pass.
Bless.
So
two more exciting things for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast, Jeff.
Yeah. Thank you as well.
Really amazing words of advice. And with that, thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode of the Men's Forum.
If you have any questions regarding today's episode, feel free to comment below.
And if there's any other topic that you'd like for us to explore in future episodes, let us know in the comments as well, and we will see you guys next week.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Peace.